If any of you know, Job is a story about a righteous man being tempted by Satan and to basically be tempted to blaspheme God and to, you know, basically reject him. That this man was such a righteous man, that he was such a good follower of Yahweh at the time. This was in the Old Testament, not before Christianity was a thing, and that he was such a good follower that that God and Satan made a bet that, Satan, you can kind of do what you want, do anything you want, and see if he will actually curse my name, if he will reject me, or if he will stay strong and seek me and continue to serve me as I am God. He is someone that we need to aspire to be as a Christian, that we need to be willing to be put up with bad situations, to be put up with hardship. Like, this guy lost 10 children and everything he owned. His homes were destroyed, his livestock, his way of life, everything was destroyed because Satan decided to, in a sense, torment him. Now this verse. Job chapter 9. Then Job answered. This is in reply to one of his friends that was giving him advice on, basically, hey, you must have been doing something wrong for this all to be happening to you. That their consensus was that Job is in sin and is clearly being not of God to have this happen to him. And the verse is, yes, I know what you've said is true in regards to what he was saying, but that's not the important part. But how can a person be justified before God? If one wanted to take him to court, he could not answer God once in 1,000 times. God is wise and all-powerful. Who has opposed him? Who came out unharmed? He removes mountains without their knowledge, overturning them in his anger. He shakes the earth from its place, so that its pillars tremble. He commands the sun not to shine and seals off the stars. He alone stretches out the heavens and treads on the waves of the sea. He makes the stars, the Bear, Orion, and the Pleiades, and the constellations of the southern sky. He does great and unsearchable things, wonders without number. I want to tie it back to, kind of, in a sense, the fact that we cannot challenge God. That as a Christian and as a human, we need to recognize that there are forces beyond our control and that we cannot take action. We cannot be fully right before an all-powerful being. Especially as a Christian. If you're not a Christian, you're not going, it's not necessarily going to have the same impact. But as a Christian, you need to recognize how we can't say anything against God, because he quite literally created everything. And if he created everything, then he will be correct. He is all-powerful. He is all-knowing. He is omnipresent. He is everywhere all the time. And the fact that when we opposed God, we chose death, we chose sin, and we cursed Adam and Eve cursed the entirety of humanity, that we would die and suffer on this planet. And that is, in a sense, because they rejected God. That also ties back to Job, because Job, his friends thought he rejected God, that he was being immoral, or in other words, unrighteous. We know as the reader that Job was just chosen as a conduit to prove the righteousness of man, that the righteousness man can have in the face of torment and turmoil, especially after having been blessed with a lot. And that's something to be of note, that God and Christ thrives in people that do not have anything. Like we were talking earlier about Turkey. The people that have been displaced, that are now dealing with all this tragedy, that is when Christ is going to come in and help them.
Slapper can also stroke.
I am staring into your soul. These people are going to be searching for help and reassurance and love. And the only true love that you can get is from Christ, from God. And it's especially in a situation where you don't have anything. God will provide what you need. And that's something very difficult to understand. Like I don't know where any of you guys live, but I live in America, and over here in America I've never really had to worry about anything. But the concerns and the areas that I need Christ are different than what are needed more traditionally. Like over in Turkey right now, people need the raiment, they need shelter, they need food, they need supplies, they need medical care. That can be provided through Christians and through relief agencies. That is how that they can become aware of Christ and see Christ. I love America, frick yeah, coming to save the motherfucking day, yeah. Great song. Wish it didn't have, such profane language. And over here in America, though, we don't need to worry, for the most part, about anything. Even if you don't have money, you can still get your basic needs and necessities. There is no reason for you to have faith in a God in that regard. But as a human, there are still areas that you need Christ. And that is all the more prevalent, I see now, with online media. People need to be able to have someone to show them the true connection. If you're living isolated, or if you aren't making that connection with other people, that's where God can come in, because he can be that friend, that father, that guidance in your life. And that God can help you through the tough times, the emotional times. That's the way I put it, because more than likely, if you're in America, you don't need to have the physical needs worried about. You just have the emotional and the mental needs. And that's what I struggle with. God really helps me with the mental ambiguity every day. And as I continue to seek after God, he continues to give me more peace, more wisdom, and more guidance. And especially as I'm trying to do this ministry here on Twitch.